Good evening, Mr. Moderator, members of the RTM, fellow elected officials, and members of the community. Thank you to the RTM for hosting all of us this evening, and to TV 79 for recording the night. In the background at the beginning of my talk is a video highlighting Darien Public School students at many different ages and stages. My thanks to Jeff DeMeo for his work putting this together. I will not narrate through the video, but you'll see students in classrooms, common spaces, on stage, and at play for fun and for sport in the buildings and fields that house them. I'd like to begin by thanking my fellow board members, David Brown, Greg Grambling, Katie Lublin, Dennis Maroney, Robin Nelson, Sarah Parent, John Sini, and most recently, Joanna Walsh, who just joined us in November. Welcome, Joanna, and thank you for agreeing to serve. I'd also like to thank Julie Best for her 3 years of service to the board. A longtime volunteer for our schools, on our board, Julie served as the chair of the Communications and Policy Committees, was a consistent supporter of arts education, and spoke up often about providing a range of academic opportunities for our students. Thank you for your time and your commitment, Julie. As you see the images, please note the upgraded auditorium you all supported last year with a new video wall at the back, which was generously donated by the Darien Foundation. You'll see the wall used for set design and to enhance concert performance. It can also be used by our students as part of their classwork. This is the kind of community investment that enables us to meet our strategic STEAM and STEM goals in support of all of our students. 4, 3, 2, 1. This year, the Darien school system has 4,572 students enrolled kindergarten through 12th grade, with another 108 students in our early learning program, or ELP. Our most recent enrollment study by the MP Planning Group projected out to 2034, noting a slow increase of approximately 72 students, or 2%, over the next 5 years, and 120 students over the next 10 years. For those who may be concerned about existing or new capacity in our elementary schools, we create elementary school sections, i.e., the assignment of students to teachers and classrooms, using medium growth enrollment projections. But per the state process, when we do building committees, we use 8-year high growth projections for those projects. Our enrollment is not expected to exceed the capacity being built for Henley, Holmes, and Royal. Oxbridge has had a recent influx of kindergarten through 5th grade students over the past couple of years and does run very close to capacity. The Board of Education is keeping a very close eye on this. Middlesex Middle School, Darien High School, and Tokenique Elementary School are scheduled for study in the next fiscal year. We continue to work closely with planning and zoning on how changes to the housing mix might impact our enrollment assumptions. Thank you to Jeremy Ginsburg and Steve Olvany and their teams for their close work with us. ELP's August enrollment is up from 78 students last year to 85 students this year. Some of the increase is attributable to last year's legislative change to the kindergarten start date from January 1st to September 1st. Of note, last year we expanded the program from 4 days to 5 days for several reasons, including the ability to provide more social time and play-based opportunities for students. As our enrollment demonstrates, our district remains a highly desirable school system known for its academic excellence. This year, the Board of Education has 5 primary goals. The first, to ensure the safety and wellness of all students and staff. The second, to align and support district priorities to the budget. The third, to support the Year 4 implementation of the strategic plan and vision of a graduate. The fifth, I'm going to try that again. The third, to support the Year 4 implementation of the strategic plan and vision of a graduate. The fourth, to enhance engagement and communication between the community, the board, and the district. And the fifth, to participate in the elementary building projects. Our first goal, safety, security, and wellness of students and staff, remains a top district priority. Over the past 5 years, the board has assessed and enhanced each school's security needs. Last year, you approved appropriations for 2 school security infrastructure improvements. Work on both began this summer and is largely completed, with one last component planned for December break. Our security department continues to work in close collaboration with the Darien Police Department, and we appreciate their continued provision of SROs to our middle and high school. Our school security officers, SSOs, continue to successfully support our elementary schools. Critical focus on the mental health of our students, their immediate and longer-term mental health needs continues through the work of our Director of Mental Health and others. We are collaborating with the town's mental health task force, behavioral health subcommittee, and local organizations such as Kids in Crisis, in particular through their Teen Talk program at the middle and high schools. We thank the Community Fund and the town of Darien for their support of the Teen Talk program at the middle school this year. New efforts that directly or tangentially impact mental health include the adoption of new personal device practices, implemented already kindergarten through 8th grade and to be finalized at Darien High School this winter, and our restorative practices training as mandated by the state. Our second goal has to do with the continued improvement of our budgeting practices. As you are all aware, the Board of Education has a significant role in shaping the school district's financial strategy, and at 2/3 of the overall town budget, has a large impact on the rest of the town's portfolio. While educational priorities are paramount, our board must also recognize other factors, such as long-term sustainability, infrastructure needs, and potential economic challenges. The Board of Education is the entity with the authority to make decisions about how funds are allocated in our own budget. Neither the Board of Finance nor the RTM has line item veto power. This responsibility requires us, the Board of Education, to be thoughtful, strategic, and fiscally responsible.
We're proud of the work done last year to take our special education transportation model in-house when busing and costs increased at the rate that they did. With this $755,000 appropriation you all granted last May, we were able to purchase the Sprinter vans, Type 2 buses, and wheelchair vans we needed in time to have them up and running for the start of the school year in August. As a reminder, this initiative is projected to save over $1 million over the next 3 years. This savings is greater than anticipated, as the number of drivers electing insurance was half of the forecast used for the budget season. As I said, we're really proud of this, but it took all of us working together to get it done. We worked closely with the Board of Selectmen, the Board of Finance, members of the RTM, and Planning and Zoning, because we needed to find a place to park the bus. So thank you to everybody for working with us to get that done. We're also proud of the work done to adjust a lower overall budget increase than what we actually requested last year. Our staff worked through insourcing and outsourcing models, looked carefully at comparable non-classroom staffing ratios at other districts in our area, and implemented most of the shift from 4 to 5 classes at the secondary level. While there was some negative press around the contractual implementation at the middle school, the reality is we were able to implement the change. Staff have reviewed the process for next year to address any areas of concern. This year, following the Board of Finance's explanation of their tax strategy, we have provided quantitative and qualitative guidance to our administration. I will emphasize, the Board of Education remains committed to providing the best possible education for our students and shares the community's desire to prioritize student needs and programming. To ensure the long-term health of our district, we will carefully review all options and make informed choices. Our work to provide a starting point that is relatively consistent with the Board of Finance tax strategy is still the beginning. Developing and adjusting a budget will be an ongoing process with careful planning, flexibility, and a commitment to balancing priorities. Those of you interested in the specifics may wish to reference our November 26th meeting. Our third goal refers to the administration's work as outlined in the strategic plan, including the vision of a graduate. Now in its 4th year, the strategic plan continues to guide the work of the district in the areas of teaching and learning, wellness, diversity and inclusion, the use of technology to support teaching and learning, expanding the professional capacity of staff, and the focus for this year, the implementation of vision of a graduate for all grades. Some of the indicators we use to talk about our success in this area. Student performance across standardized testing continues to be exceptional, as reflected on SAT, AP tests, and the annual number of National Merit Scholars, 4, Commended Scholars, 24, and Presidential Scholar Candidates, 3. 95.2% of our graduates attend 2 to 4 year colleges. And one of the things we're doing at the board table is continuing to talk about all of the graduates, including those who don't plan to go to 2 to 4 year colleges. Everybody matters. Everybody has a place. 507 of our students took 1,241 AP tests. Since 2020, the number of students taking APs has increased by 9%. The number of exams administered has increased by 28%. During that time, their scores have improved slightly, from 91% receiving a score of 3 or higher to 93% receiving a score of 3 or higher. We have been working to increase access to AP exams and are extremely excited to report that we have. And we've done it successfully. In the past 5 years, we've doubled the number of students and languages receiving the seal of biliteracy. Our high levels of SBAC, NGSS, or Next Generation Science Standards, and SAT performances are reflected in our State Accountability Index of 85.6. Our recognition of our district as the best communities for music education by the NAM Foundation. The production quality of musical and arts performances you saw, and that includes chorus, band, orchestra, and theater. And the continued success of our athletes and sports teams and clubs, FCAC and SEAC with 9 divisional championships, 8 FCAC championships, 6 state championships, and unified sports running 3 seasons a year. Our last 2 goals are around communications and the building projects. I will highlight the successful work of the new communications committee, including the creation of a district communication plan, which looks at multiple new and existing channels for engaging with the community, communication-focused policy work, and the creation of a district dashboard reflecting student and district performance. First Selectman Zagrodzky and Steve Alvaney also outlined the work of HHR. So I'll just say a quick thank you to my fellow members of that committee, including my co-chair Chris Price, for their work and leadership. I'd also like to thank the administrative and facilities staff for their support of the project. We had a successful and smooth opening to those 3 schools in August, which is not a given. Thank you to our teachers, students, parents, and neighbors for their cooperation and understanding. Thank you to each of you for your support of our schools. Lastly, my personal thanks to the late David Martin for his considerable commitment to the success of this project. Going forward, some of our future challenges and/or opportunities that are outside of our control include nationwide teacher shortages, technological changes, and higher costs in education. We'll be working to stay ahead of teacher shortages by focusing on recruitment and retention of staff and teacher leadership opportunities to support career paths, as well as by preparing for negotiation of our next teacher contract this coming summer. We'll continue to be actively engaged around the use of AI and its impact on teaching and learning, as well as student use of personal devices during the school day. We'll be focused on more strategic budgeting locally, but we'll also continue our advocacy at the state level. Tracy Mara, our Assistant Director of Curriculum, Amy Fedigan, and I attended a legislative breakfast last Friday. Many districts spoke about the impact of increased costs in several areas, including special education and its variable funding structure, unfunded state mandates such as K-3 reading legislation, and play-based learning. We feel strongly about the importance of meeting the needs of all of our students and agree with shifts like the focus on play-based learning. However, we will continue to work to ensure our legislators understand the impact of legislative requirements and corresponding funding or gaps in funding. This year, we hosted the pre-K through 12 tri-state group who reviewed our fine and performing arts programs, and NEOSC for their decennial accreditation visit. Both organizations spoke to the excellence of our programming and the talents and efforts of our staff. We have much to be proud of. This year begins my 9th year as a member of the Darien Board of Education. Quite a bit has changed during that time. We've rebuilt our special education department, expanded our high school cafeteria, rebuilt Ox Ridge, and began renovating Hinley Homes and Royal. Added security personnel, starting first with SROs, and years later, adding SSOs to the elementary schools. implemented a one-to-one initiative at the high school, expanded it all the way through the elementary schools during COVID, and then moved the high school back to bring your own device after assessing how students were actually using or not using school-issued devices. We've adapted time and time again and will continue to do so. This coming year will be no different. In closing, I'd like to thank our administration, led by Superintendent Alan Adley, Amy Fettigan, Shirley Klein, Marge Sion, Rich Rudel, and our teachers and staff. I'd also like to thank our constituents for the opportunity to serve, and my board for the privilege and responsibility of serving as the chair of the Board of Education. Thank you to each of you for your time and attention tonight. On behalf of the board, I wish everyone a healthy, safe, and happy holiday season, and look forward to working collaboratively with all of you over productive discussions in the new year. Thank you for your time.